Welcome back to another episode of Saline Speaks. Today I'm joined by Tim Austin, who is the newly elected Vice President of the school board. And we're going to talk a little bit about why he wanted to join the school board and kind of what's ahead for the school board in the next few years. So thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
I guess just to start right off the bat, for people who might not know you or might not have met you, kind of what's your professional background, career, whatnot?
I graduated from Saline High School, started a lawn and landscaping business right out of school to kind of help fund college, and I wanted to go to architectural school. So after a few years of school and work, I was kind of faced with a situation where do I just go to school or do I concentrate on work? And I decided to try the entrepreneur self-employment stage, and so 26 years later I have a partner, Brandon Hertel, and I have run A&H Lawn Service in Saline for 26 years.
Wow, so you're definitely a native and a local
then.
Yeah. And so what kind of led you to want to be a member on the school board and run for school board?
Like I said, I graduated from Saline High School, so I grew up in Saline. I was a Houghton hot rod for my elementary years, and I graduated at the middle school now. That was the high school back when I graduated. And, so I have two young kids that are going to school in Saline. I got a lot of pride for Saline schools. I'm excited about it. When you see the Hornet, you get excited. I want to kind of give back. And kind of a little side note, my great-grandfather was the school board president in the 1950s, and my grandfather was a school board president in the 1970s, and was actually the president when they built the middle school.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a little history there, too.
Yeah, quite the history. So does that mean you're going to be running for president?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really necessarily have aspirations, but yeah, see where it leads.
And I'm trying to remember, did you run for a position or did you fill a vacancy?
I ran.
You ran?
Yep. There was I actually ran uncontested. There was nobody that ran against me. We don't know if that was, the 6-year term seemed like a lot for people. I don't know if that was what it was, or if Saline schools are finally kind of turning the financial page. They were struggling there for a while, and we're kind of starting to go on the upside. So maybe people felt comfortable with where the schools were at, and so maybe they didn't feel they needed to step in. So yeah, I decided I'd fill that opportunity.
So at the beginning I mentioned you're vice president of the school board. Kind of what does that entail from you?
Really I haven't seen a whole lot of changes so far. I sit next to the president now at the school board meetings, and I guess I'm responsible if he's not there to run the meetings. So other than that, it really hasn't changed much. Our committee assignments haven't really changed much. So, yeah.
Now, before the show started, we were talking a little bit about how things are changing on a state level with finances and whatnot. And you just mentioned that's something you're looking at. Kind of where do you see that going in the next year or two?
Yeah, most of our funds come from the state, and the governor just released his budget, and it looks like now we got to see how it shakes out through all the committees, but it looks like we could see like $110, $120 per pupil increase, which would be nice. Still far less than what we were at in 2009, which was our peak, but at least it's on the upside, so we can't complain about that. We still face a lot of uncertainty with finances, as the MIPSA retirement rate continues to go up, that unfunded liability, which is on our books, that is kind of haunting, and then just, every year we have to wait for the governor to say, what is he going to do? We can't really forecast out in the future very far, because every year it can change. I mean, next year we might get less, or we might get more, or we might not get anything. A few years ago, when he came into office, Governor Schneider came into office, he was really pushing different kind of ideas like best practices and stuff like that. Well, Saline was getting funds for best practices. Well, then all of a sudden last year they kind of rolled back the best practices. So even though they increased funding, they took away the best practices, so we lost that funding. So we ended up netting out almost nothing. So, so there's all these different, I want to say they're games. Yeah. Funding games, yeah. And that keeps us on our toes, and it makes it difficult to forecast.
Yeah, and we were mentioning a little bit about how Saline does a great job of just finding the best way to work with what we have, and figure out the best way to use what the state gives us.
Exactly, and then that's what you got to do. You got to be a little bit creative, and luckily Saline has some assets that we aren't using, like Houghton School. We ended up having to sell Houghton School, because it was we weren't using it. So we were able to, with some of our assets, selling some of those, helping build up our fund balance. I mean, our fund balance sunk down to as low as I think 2%. Now last year was back up to 7. This year will be back down to a little under 7, but still in the upward trend. We're happy with that considering where it was at, and we'd like to see it get up to 10% or so. So we still have some work to do.
Yeah. You mentioned you went to Houghton, and now unfortunately it's no more. Kind of as a Saline grad and someone who's been in the district for so long, how have you seen the school system evolve over the years?
Wow, it's so much bigger. I think I had 230 students in my graduating class, and now it's upwards of 400 plus. So, the new school is exciting. It's large, it's nice. People come here from around the state and they look at our school system and they're excited about it, and rightfully so they should be. Saline has a great school system.
Is there anything with having kids in the system that is really important to you, or you're just really proud of as the school system?
Yeah, I'm real proud of it. I think the teachers and the staff are great, and we have a lot of things to be proud about in Saline schools. And I can't. It's hard to even say just one thing. It's our athletics, it's our teachers, it's our administrators, it's our special education program. I mean, people move to Saline for our special education program. That says a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Jumping back a little bit in terms of finances, a big deal this year is the bond.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a little bit about kind of how you see things going with that?
Yeah, first off, I'm thankful that the community came out and supported it.
Yeah.
We had a lot of needs, and some people thought do we need that? We got this big school, we may be overbuilt. At the end of the day, we're utilizing it. This high school will have graduated more students than any other school in Saline at the end of this year. So there's a lot of foot traffic through this school. We had a lot of pressing needs as far as safety and security. The bus loop and the Heritage and Woodland Meadows was important. And then, the office area at Pleasant Ridge, moving it from the middle of the school to the outside so we can put a secure vestibule. And those funds weren't going to come from the general fund. I mean, there was just no way to we couldn't save enough money to do those kind of projects. And so the bond is going to be nice for that. We do have a sinking millage fund, which raises about $500,000 a year, but again, because of the state restrictions on it, you can only use it for certain things. And again, $500,000 is not going to go very far when you're talking about the infrastructure changes we had to do. So,
yeah. And I think that's why there was such a big turnout, as people saw the bond was really focused on safety, security, necessary improvements.
And then that's what we heard from the stakeholders, pretty much, was safety and security.
Yeah.
And two, technology. I mean, we're sitting in the studio today, and I'm amazed with what you guys do here. And next gen classrooms is just kind of a wave that we're trying to go to, and technology is not cheap, and it's constantly changing. So this will help with that too.
So 6 years is a long term. Anything that's important to you or projects you want to see aside from what we talked about?
No, I mean, I'm on the finance committee. And I really like that committee, and I just kind of want to see us kind of be able to navigate through what we have and still increase our fund balance to secure the future of the Saline schools.
So for anyone who's interested or wants to learn more about the school board, maybe contact you, what would be the best way?
Yeah, they can reach me at my email, and and then I know also Paul Hynek, the president, is going to be putting together a little. On the 17th, I believe, March 17th, you'll be having a little gathering for people that are interested in running for the school board, a little information session for that. So there's that, and
Yeah, maybe won't be so uncontested next time.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've had 2 vacant seats that we've had to fill via appointment, and we've actually had quite a few people interested, applications and stuff. So that's encouraging, that people are wanting to get engaged with the schools and stuff. So
great.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, I really appreciate you coming out, talking to me, letting people get to know you a little bit better, and
I appreciate you having me.
Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.